Oh, look at that. I can hear my voice already. That's pretty good turnaround. Okay, good. So, welcome to the Wylders game. I'm Dave Wildson. I am the game master, and here are the Wilder bunch. Say hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone.
So, we play a game that is a role-playing game. It's a D&D style. We use Pathfinder primarily for our rule set and some D&D stuff because we still like the old school stuff because we put the cool in old school.
We do.
And
also we're old.
and we're old.
Okay.
Yeah, we're freaking old. So we play this game. It's a homebrew game that I set up called in this case, the campaign is called the Campaign of St. Yago, and it is in a fantasy world of Aerra. And these guys are outlaws that botched a train robbery in good old West 1899, ended up being trapped in a mine, found a portal to another world, and now they are trying to deal with this new world that they live in. And they've been doing it now for over 2 years, long time. We're going to go around the table. We're going to do super short introductions. And here is the first one on my left. Thaddeus, say hello.
Hello, my name is Ian Little, and I'm playing the role of Thaddeus Poindexter, a simple medic.
Just a medic. That's spelled R-O-G-U-E. And here is Josephine.
I am Josephine Smith, played by Amanda. I kind of rock these pew-pews. Like the best that anyone has ever rocked pew-pews before.
Right.
I do have a very tall, 6 foot tall direwolf companion whose name is Bear, and we all love him to pieces.
He's a good boy.
He's such a good boy.
I could go back.
Amanda, before we go any further, the cat has moved your camera. If you want to take it and forward to your right, back on your left a little bit, just to center it a little more.
Good.
A little more. One more.
One more.
One more.
Good.
Okay, that'll do. All right. Hello, Lavinia. How are you, Lavinia Rose?
Oh, hello, Dave. I am Janice. I play the part of Lavinia Rose. I am actually married to the game master down there.
Hello, that's me.
And what a crazy adventure this is. I'm not going to tell you anymore.
Good enough. Mr. Redfeather. Hello, Percy Redfeather.
Percival Redfeather. I am a tracker, a hunter, and a bounty hunter. And if you push me too far, I'm close to the edge. I'm about to lose my head. Anyway, I turn into a tiger and attack. And so don't mess with the tiger.
A weird tiger.
A weird tiger, because I was cursed
Scarier.
by a fancy mask.
Which is not the same as a weird tiger.
Well, I could be a weird tiger, too.
He's kind of a bit of both.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. All right, and on to Raven. Hello, sir.
Hello, Glen the Valley, playing Raven Alexium. I'm the squishy wizard, and I have a minor in alchemy, and I have a familiar whose name is Drema. She's a raven.
Good. Okay. All right, so let's get started. We last time, real quick review, 1 minute. Last time you guys leveled up. You're level 6. Yeah, awesome. So part of being level 6 is that you all on your character sheets have started to do your new featses. 3 of you have got some featses done. A feat is like an extra little bonus that you get in Pathfinder. For those that don't know what's going on with feats, that's F-E-A-T. And we're just going to touch on a couple of them real quick here because Josephine and Percy still haven't selected theirs.
I'm sorry.
Lavinia has. So we are going to go to the adventure screen. We're going to look at Lavinia's feats really quick so the rest of you know what they are because they're pretty cool. She picked, let me see where they are. Here they are. You guys got a class 1 and she got detonating spell.
Can you put it on the back?
Oh, I need to put it on the back screen. That's right. Okay, so
I know.
let
I just want to see.
really quickly do this and we will go sources, cast screen to Game Room TV. And we're going with this one. There, can you see it back there now? It's pretty hard to see that text. But it's the same thing that everybody at home is seeing. So, detonating spell. Your spell becomes volatile and explosive. If the next action you use is cast a spell that deals damage to a single target and the spell successfully lands, It explodes, dealing splash damage equal to the rank of the spell cast to adjacent creatures. That's pretty nice. Pretty awesome. Good choice.
Quick question.
Yes.
So I'm assuming I can use that with the heal spell as well.
Yep. Heal spells will splash. I'm going to say, oh, wait. No. It's got to be a spell that damages the target.
Yeah, but
So
if
if
I'm
you
casting
cast-
a heal on undead,
Yes. If you cast a heal spell on undead, because it's the reverse, it will damage the
yes.
other ones because it's damaging the target. But if you cast a single target heal spell on one of your other players, it's not damaging them, so it's not going to splash.
no. But
Okay.
if I'm causing damage, even if it's in a group damage situation, it can explode and then hit the ones around.
Yeah. And the other one that you picked was called Root Magic, and it means that you can make these talisman wards against foul magic, and you can actually make one per day and hand it out, right?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah, so she's able to give it to him, and it's only a level 1 feat, but she took it because she wasn't happy with any of the level 6 ones.
So does it say anything as to what benefit it gives the person that I give the talisman to?
yeah, they get a saving throw against a spell or a haunt, and they get an extra +1 to their roll. So that helps them when they've got a saving throw to not get spelled or haunted. And you guys had a situation where you came across that patrol of undead elves.
Yep.
And the last one you killed had a spirit that ended up haunting each of you, possessing each of you. This would have been handy for one of you to have to try and resist that, because you guys had a hell of a fight to beat that thing. You were
We
beating
didn't
each
have
other
much
up.
defense against it. We were
Yeah.
trying to fight the
Can
damn
I
thing.
hold on to one of those talismans myself to protect against the...
Well, you can hold on to it yourself or give it to somebody else, I believe.
Yeah,
Let me see what it says. Nope, you got to give it to an ally.
So every morning when I'm prepping, I have the ability to do one of these. So each day, one of you guys will get one.
All right, let's move on to Mr. Alexium. He's next down on my list, so I'm going to pop up Raven Alexium's character sheet, and we're going to look at his real quick. And do you want to talk about him, or you want me to talk about him, Raven?
Why don't you do the
All right,
bits
real
and
quick.
I'll add when I can.
Advanced alchemy gives you a bunch of extra benefits. You can create 4 alchemical consumables during your daily prep, right? That's one of them. So you've got a whole crafting tab that's starting to fill in with a whole bunch of stuff on it.
Cool.
All kinds of different formulas. And I see you've got 3 here in advanced alchemy right now, camouflage. You just need some more alchemy recipes, which I've got to get on the ball about. Other one is your skill feats. You decided, what? You can read lips?
Nice.
Read lips of others nearby. You can clearly see. Language must be one that you know.
So,
Can you tell him more? Tell him more.
well, I can use this spell.
Like, did he
so-
have a car? Sorry.
Oh,
I-
that's from Greece.
1889. Here we are. So, yes, it's so I can project into my raven, and I can see and hear through her, so she can go and park in useful places, and I can pick up what's going on as a useful little spy.
Ravens have pretty good eyesight.
Such a great blend of...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but who else is going, yeah, in
Bringing
their head?
everybody back to the game.
I love that movie, Grease. I
It's
think
a
it's
great
awesome.
movie.
Tell me more. Okay, we're going to tell you more now, and that is going to be about Thaddeus. And this will be the last one we talk about feats today. About Thaddeus, you picked a couple of new ones. One was called, oh, look at this, Skirmish Strike. Your feet and weapon move in tandem. Either step and then strike, or strike and then step. So, fancy footwork. He's going to float like a one-step butterfly and then sting like a rogue, I guess. That's what he's going to do.
Sounds fantastic.
You've always
Really
been...
don't you
With,
you've al-
I think you mean with surgical precision.
With surgical
Yes.
With
precision.
surgical precision.
Thaddeus, haven't you always been known for your fancy footsteps?
I have been known to be very agile when I need to be.
In real life, you dance too, right? Well, dancing lessons. Like
Yeah, it's been a
ballroom?
long time.
All right.
So, Dave, I am actually trying my darndest to add this feat, and it's just not allowing me to. I showed it to Thaddeus. It's the ability to mimic.
Oh.
So to take on the personality and traits of, I don't know, a friend, a foe, a something.
It's level 6 or under.
It's gotta be because it was available to me.
All right, we'll have a quick look at it and see. But first of all, let's finish Thaddeus's other feat.
No,
Say
sorry,
that
sorry.
again. The trigger is, and this is really interesting. The trigger is an opponent gets a critical failure when attempting to demoralize you or lie to you. The world is full of obnoxious weasels who think they can pull one over on you.
Yeah, some of them are your uncles.
And yes, some of them are your uncles, yes. When an adjacent creature attempts to lie to you or demoralize you and gets a critical failure, you can use your reaction to make a shove attempt against them. And then if combat results, you can roll intimidation for your initiative check. So that's pretty fun. Okay, so let's try and resolve your problem really quick, Josephine, and then we're going to play, go back to where you guys
know
are
what?
on the
I
ship.
lost it though. I'll look for it again. Anyway,
Was it a class feat or a skill feat?
It was under. Let me
You do
shove
not
this away
know.
for just a second. It is under the skill feat.
What's it called?
Well, that's a good question because I lost it. So, but it was
Mimic, you said, or something?
It was something about mimicking, and it was copy or mirror, maybe. Oh, let's do that. Mirror. It was mirror. Thank you. So, okay, let's.
There's sound mirror is the only mirror that's in there.
Where? Okay.
So you can find it and let me know.
I was just looking at it. That's the weirdest thing. Maybe it was under skilled feats. Skill feats mirror.
Okay, so we're going to jump back into the game, do a review, and I'll follow that up with you, Josephine. So here is
Sounds
the
good.
clacker. Ready, set.
Yay!
Did I do the clacker yet? No, I
No,
didn't do
but
it.
it's
Okay, here
so
we go.
nice to
Ready,
see it
clacker.
again.
Here is the Wylders game. This is live session 27. Now, we've had a lot more sessions than that. If you're actually looking for our videos on YouTube, which is where we store all our old videos, you'll find that we have got a bunch of edited videos that go up until sometime last year. But I haven't been editing them after this. I've just been leaving the live unedited ones on the live tab. So if you're in YouTube and you're looking at our channel, you're going to see there's a video tab and there's a live tab. Go to the live tab if you want to see the most recent content.
And it's got breaks in between. So you may see a 3-hour video, but really it's a story and then a break. And then
It's 45 minutes and 15 minutes and 45
Yeah.
minutes.
Oh,
and 15
timer.
minutes.
We forgot. Right.
Timer!
timer.
Where the hell?
Timer alert.
Oh. All right. We're going to set our timer. We're going to set that for big 45. Ding, ding, ding. All right. You, during the last game, last week, had just left the war encampment of the Elven Queen and her host at the very southern border of the Feywood because you got a ride. You got a ride on a sky ship, an Anua sky ship. The Anua are a race in this world of sky-dwelling giants that live in cloud cities and fly these giant sky galleons. They're the most advanced technological race on the planet, and a lot of their technology is artifact. It's something they've inherited that's part of the sky cities, and they don't fully understand all of it, but they make use of a lot of the mechanisms from the sky cities that they have found.
Can I ask you a question?
You can ask me a question. Yes.
You know the picture that we have that says Aerra on it, and there's a ship flying around. Is that one of these types of ships?
I don't know if that ship is a particular ship from the actual city. Do I have a picture of the ship that we're talking about? It's on the back screen all the time.
Yeah.
It is a flying sky ship, but I don't know if it's an Anua sky ship.
Okay.
Speaking of which, let's have a look at an Anua sky ship. Here's the ship that picked you up right here. And there is a picture of it in the basket that they lowered to come and get you. All right. So that's the Sky Galleon that you are currently on, an Anua Sky Galleon. And it's in gigantic proportions because, of course, these people, these Anua, are giants between 16 and 20 feet tall. So it's a big ship in relation to you. Even the basket was pretty big for you guys to climb yourselves up into it. So you're basically the size of small children running around amongst these giants right now. So let's go back to, we'll go to this for adventure screen and stuff like that. And we should probably say a quick shout out to anybody that's hanging out with us.
Brother Silver is saying hi. He sent hugs and said, "Damn it, Larry, for wrecking the cameras," and you know.
Yeah.
Oh, and just popping up right now. Hi, Sugar Sugar.
Hi, Sugar.
Hi, Sugar.
Yeah, we have a TV on our table that Larry considers to be his second bed.
Wow.
And he likes to lay on top of it. And he was there actually just before the game, and I took a picture of him and I posted it on our Facebook. We have a Wildermage Facebook, and there's a picture on there right now. We also have a website, wildermage.com. That's WYLDERMAGE. Yes, and it's a .com, and
WYLDR.
you can go see background on our game there if you're interested. I've got to do some update on the website, and we don't often post on our Facebook page. I'd be happy if somebody would be happy to be interested in taking that
I
over.
think you have
posting
to
new
add
info.
admins because I've tried to post there
tried?
And
before
we can't.
and can't.
All right, we got to
Like,
talk about that
it's-
this week
yeah.
and see if somebody else can get that, so that, because otherwise it's like dead most of the time because I never
I'm
post
happy
there.
to, but yeah, it's just like I'm not allowed to, or yeah, whatever.
So you had just arrived on this sky ship, and on the sky ship, you, the captain of the sky ship, if you remember, I got to use a mouse for this. The captain of the sky ship was called Marduk. If you remember that, he is made a deal with you. He's the Anua like to make lots of deals. One of his deals was one of his favors was that he owed to Quilius Quacksilver was to get you west on this mission. So he's taking you, and after that, you've made a deal with him that he'll actually pick you up afterwards, and then we will see where it goes. The only thing that could interrupt your mission is if he runs into some of the Aesir Vikings, Sky Vikings. That could be a problem for him. He has invited you to the ship. He has ensconced you in the captain's cabin, not the captain, the cook's cabin. As you go in to put your belongings in the cook's cabin, you notice that there's not even a bed. There's this big hammock that's strung across that the cook sleeps in. So you guys are all going to have to go on the floor and lay out all your bedding underneath. But, you know, the hammock for the cook is like 20 feet long, which means that you guys have no problem laying all your bedding around on the floor underneath where the hammock is, above you, kind of thing. And it's just kind of gently swaying there with however the boat sways in the wind.
We hope he did not eat beans.
That's right. What do the Anua eat? I guess we'll have to
Probably
find out.
beans,
I think they have some
to be honest.
Beans.
Yeah, you guys might have a hard time with that with giant farts. That might be an issue for you.
Judging by
I've
the
got
look
one
of him, I would
bean.
say he has a lot of
A regular
protein.
fart is
Regular sized bean.
or bad enough.
He eats a lot of
Giant
beans, is what.
I have a
Thaddeus said.
question for Captain Marduk.
Okay, man. What's your question for Martin?
My question for Captain Marduk is: Raven and I would like to look at this suspending, hovering device within the heart of this machine, this wondrous ship.
The device
Maybe.
that makes this ship fly.
We would love to see it.
Now,
You think
you
he's
did
gonna
not-
let you peek at his crystal clusters?
You did not warn me about this, but I knew that you were going to ask,
I'm just
and
a curious
thus
guy.
we shall go and discuss this. For those that haven't watched the show before, I'm going to have to explain a little bit of backstory, but we're going to go to the adventure screen again real quick. And basically what you're doing is you're asking the captain to go have a look downstairs.
At the engine.
And he
yes.
looks at you curiously and he's like, I guess so. I suppose it would be of interest to you. And this particular thing is
Raven, yeah.
certainly not a big secret by any means. As he escorts you downstairs, you see that there are 3 attendants around this giant cluster.
Wow.
Ooh,
It's
wow.
a great big cluster. These are known as aerolite crystals.
Right.
You have they're used also as a trading currency in this country.
So I want to make sure I understand this. Each one of these fellows is 12 feet tall or 14 feet tall, right?
16 to 20.
16 to
16
20.
to 20.
20 feet
Okay.
tall. So this crystal is like the same height, about 16 to 20 feet high.
Correct.
Yeah.
So it's a pretty
It's
massive
a
Big
monstrous.
freaking crystal. Yeah.
The ones that you have been able to personally find that you've been using to trade are like tiny little pebbles in comparison to these, or even smaller in comparison to this giant cluster. You've never seen a cluster this big before, never had any idea that there was such a thing.
Where are they mined from? Like, where do these come from?
So these clusters are mined by the core dwarves deep in the earth. Aerolite is basically crystallized aether, which is the magical element that permeates this world, makes the sky golden, and gives everything whatever magic it might have. Hey, speaking of magic, I forgot. Glenn and I sorted out his spells for his new thing because you guys just leveled up, and spell slots. This is a spell focus for you, for your focus spell, Lavinia. Here, hand that one down to her. We use poker chips for our spell slots because it's easier for these guys to keep track of their slots when they have that. Percy, this is your magic ring item called Bort's Blessing that every morning you choose which language is it. And I've got 2 spells here, focus, arcane focus for Raven, and another one spell called, you talked about Drain Bond. I made a Drain Bond one for you.
Thank you.
You guys should be able to track your stuff that way now.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Nice.
So
Congrats, everyone.
Did you make me the level 3 mage, like my school?
Battle Mage one?
Battle Mage
Nope,
ones.
I forgot.
Okay.
Hold on. I'm going to give you a 3, and then we'll take it.
A 3, a 2, and a 1, please.
Do you get all of them right now? I haven't given
I
them to you.
should.
I thought I gave them to you last time.
Let
Yeah.
me check. Maybe you did.
So you
I
need
take
a
it back.
3
I
for
have-
Battle Mage.
I have 3. So, sorry, never mind. I
Do
can
you-
take one of these and make it into a battle mage. 'cause
Okay,
that'll-
fine. Let's do
If
that.
I can use your felt.
We have stickers, and we'll get you set up with that.
Okay, cool.
Use. I got to go find where the blank. Here, use one of these ones that's got a line on it.
Okay.
And here is. Feel that for a sec. Feel that. Can you feel that?
Why
That's
am
a
I
felt pen? There you go. Rob can't groan in that because Rob's puns are way worse.
You can take the man out of the carny, but you can't take the carny out of the
I
man.
use that.
You
Go to your
outthrew me on
room.
that one.
Oh, see? And it
Now-
comes right
now
back
look
with
what-
I think we need to draw a line on these puns.
Oh.
Let's go back to the story. We had a question from Lavinia about where do these clusters come from? They're mined deep in the earth by the core dwarves. The dwarves, there are 3 different kinds of dwarves in the world. They all originated as core dwarves deep in the core. That's what the center of this world is called, the core, C-O-R. The core dwarves are the ones that mine this, and this is one of their main forms of commerce with the rest of the world. They sell aerolite clusters, the biggest of which are always reserved for the Anua because they require the largest clusters for their ships, which are the largest ships. The core dwarves do not trade with the Aesir Vikings because the Aesir Vikings are bad guys. The core dwarves don't like them. But they do trade smaller clusters with all of the other races. You have to go to them mostly, make the deal, and then they will bring a shipment to you someplace close to the surface so that they don't have to be on the surface very long because core dwarves are very uncomfortable on the surface of the planet Aerra. These clusters also have, and this is explained to you by Marduk, the captain, while you are looking at the contraption that does this, it seems to be there's a bit of a circular guide on the top of the metal framework that this cluster is in. And the Marduk explains to you that metal guide, that metal circle can be turned to the right or to the left to adjust the height of the ship, the altitude of the ship.
Very cool.
The reason that it works is that on the below this, in the center of the ship, on the decks below, there is a large equal size payload of this dull gray stone called anchorite that nullifies the effects of the aerolite. And the closer the anchorite payload is to the aerolite, the less effective the aerolite cluster is at giving the entire ship levitation. So as they turn it, as it moves away, the ship will fly higher. As they turn it to make the anchorite rise up on the deck below, and it gets closer, the ship will fly lower, and it has a certain point at which it will not go below that. They cannot land the ship on the ground.
I have a hypothesis.
You have a hypothesis. What is it?
So I hypothesize that the aerolite grows, and as it grows larger, it forms anchorite around it. Because otherwise, it would rise to the surface with vibration and motion of the rocks and earth.
Oh, but isn't it like it's like it has to be mined, like it has to be chipped out
Yes,
of
but
the
it's
earth. So you figure it's growing within the anchorite,
or that it's turning surrounding Earth into anchorite by exposing it to its radiation or something.
Interesting.
Well, maybe there's an ore that needs to be processed, and out of the process become two items.
No.
Also, sorry,
don't
Game
get that.
Master, there was a question from
From this
our
so far
viewer,
lore.
Sugarberries,
Yeah.
who wants to know if the crystals clusters are like the golden compass, the dust in the air.
So I suppose you could say it's a similar idea. Let's actually talk about Aether for a second. Probably most people don't know that Aether is actually an element considered to be a real element on Earth. It's not part of the current modern science table, but during medieval times and before, Aether was a thing. Aether was a magical thing on Earth. Aether actually existed. So we've just taken that mythology and we've transferred it to Aerra and made it real, basically. And then beyond that, it's just my own creation, the idea of aerolite clusters. Now, to answer Percy's idea that he asks Marduk about how the anchorite forms and whether it forms around the things, Marduk is quite surprised and says, actually, yes, that is. He doesn't know all of the details of exactly how the anchorite forms, but he does agree with you that what happens is that it does form around those clusters as all of the aerolite is pulled from the earth around them and becomes part of the crystal.
Okay.
They become inert and
So it
eventually,
becomes a negative to the
yes, they become a negative to the positive.
right.
And he doesn't know all of the secrets of the core dwarves. They're very closely guarded, but that's his idea and his belief of how it works. He knows that in order to transport it, when you make the deal, you are making the deal with the core dwarves for an aerolite cluster of whatever size, and you are trading to them goods that they want from the surface of the earth. Part of that deal is always an accompanying load of anchorite that the cluster is shipped in or with to keep it in, keep it inert until it's supposed to be active.
So we still have our anchorite because those little rascals didn't steal that, right? They only
That's
stole
true.
the amorite gem.
Did we had
You
anchorite?
have 4 little chunks, or 6 little chunks of anchorite.
Okay.
You had 6 clusters, if I remember correctly. Right? And they're sitting with 6 chunks of anchorite, so you have these 6 little dull gray
Can
stones.
imagine these little munchkins going with the bags. Just to keep them from running away.
Okay,
That's a good point, though.
do you have any other questions about the mechanism for this ship to fly. Now, the ship, of course, has got a full set of sails,
Right.
because the anchorite allows it to levitate up into the air. The minimum height that it can drop down to is about 200 feet, 100 to 200 feet. Maximum height that it will go is limited as well, and is probably about 400 feet.
Now, apart from like shifting the anchorite, how else do we steer this? Are there giant oars kind of like paddling in the
Sails.
air?
It's got
Sails.
sails.
Right.
the
okay,
angle
yeah,
of
you
the
pull,
sails-
pull. Yeah, okay.
And then
okay.
the wind moves, and if you
Yeah,
want to go
no.
against the wind, you tack into the wind.
I forgot about the sail part. I was just thinking.
okay.
And there's a
boats
very
paddle.
large sail on the back that acts as the rudder to the right or to the left.
Right, okay.
Other than that, it is the angle of the sails that they set the sails to help catch the wind and also to keep the ship at the correct angle for where it's going to go.
So do the Amalite crystals ever need to be replaced or recharged?
Aerolite, no, they do
Aerolite.
not. No, it's a permanent physical attribute of how they work.
A natural anti-gravity
Everlasting.
Anti-gravity.
And it is the number one reason that the Aesir Vikings raid their cities and their ships and attack them. And why this war has been going on for centuries is because this is the only real access that Aesir Vikings have to gaining clusters themselves, is to try and either take over an entire ship, or if it's badly damaged, at least get the clusters out of it. It is also why the Plains of the Fallen on the great big old table map, as you can see here, there's a big section of the world, this part of the world, the Western lands. Oh, hold on, I gotta grab it this way. There's a big section of the Western worlds that's just to the northwest of you, called the Plains of the Fallen. We would think of them as the prairies on, or the plains on our world of Earth or Terra. Here are the Great Lakes, which are Unkta territory. The reason they're called Plains of the Fallen is this is the primary raiding area of the Aesir Vikings who live in the mountains to the west here. And they prey upon the ships that come across this area. And when there is a fight, if one of the ships, either a Viking ship or an Inuit ship, or maybe a ship from another nation like the Dragon People, is badly enough damaged, that ship could end up crashing and falling to the earth. Or during battle, there could be warriors that end up falling off of those sky ships as they're battling. This is where they end up. They end up the Fallen on the plains. And across these plains, which are just great expanses of empty, flat prairie with bison and a few other animals, there are all kinds of burial mounds of dead Inuit and dead Vikings. It's rumored that the plains are haunted by the spirits of the fallen, and every once in a while you'll come across a crashed
We can
sky ship.
confirm that.
You can confirm
We
the
can
crashed
confirm
sky
the
ship.
haunted crashed spy ships and the haunted skeletons of the Vikings.
You guys had a little
except
encounter.
for-
Was one of the very first couple of months we were playing, right?
We had an encounter
There
with
was
the
a giant
skeleton.
belt.
Yep, the belt.
A giant belt.
Belt on that skeleton, yeah.
That's true. You guys fought him. Where is he? Do we still have him around here?
Sure. I made him. He was big.
He is awesome. Hold on. Let me see if I can find him. There he is. I got him.
Did Ian paint
Oh
him?
wow! Yeah.
Yeah, man. So
Ian
this
did a great
was
job. Yeah.
this was the guy that you guys fought. Now the one that you fought would have more of a skeletal face and skeletal body than this guy. Let me see if we can get this.
Oh, he's awesome.
Looks so
But
good.
Look
Oh
how
my
great he
goodness.
looks. This is the Sky Giant. This is what an Aesir Viking looks like in our game, in our world. And to give you a comparison with a regular player, let me get one of you guys. Who have I got here? I've got Josephine. Here's Josephine. This isn't exactly the right scale. He's a little bit He's a little bit bigger than what
Close-ish.
than just the 16 to 20 feet, because the Aesir Vikings are the same size as the
If they're
Anua
16
giants.
to 20 feet and I'm 5 feet, I would be just past his kneecap.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
you'd be a little bigger. Here,
You'd
let's do it like-
be mid thigh.
Yeah, maybe, mid-thigh, yeah.
there. That's the right size. I know you're out of focus, but oh well.
All right.
So that gives you an idea about, now those are the Aesir Vikings, not the Anua. We don't have a cool Anua yet, but that's a project for the next couple of months.
Can
Me and
do.
Rob are going to have to get on that and see if we can figure that out.
We mix manure.
Make some fun Anua. Like
Yeah.
the captain especially would be
Oh,
great
he's
to see
awesome.
if we could find
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
We could get him set up.
Get him set up. Yeah.
So,
Why does painting a Nua sound like such a fun project that sounds kind of secretive?
You're getting him all excited. Oh my goodness.
His eyes are twinkling.
It almost sounds like a movie title even, or a book title.
Well,
Painting a
Ian
Nua,
is our master
or-
painter and
or a
does such
title
an
of a
amazing
poem.
job that we just, it just blows us away with
this is
everything
what
we create.
I love about our game is everybody's got wonderful contributions they make. In this case, Rob and Glenn both do 3D printing. Rob's got some nice resin printers, so we'll use those to build this guy. I used to do resin printing. Rob's taking it over now. He does all of it. And then when we get the guy, Ian will paint it. That's what he painted, was this Viking that I just showed you, which is beautiful.
I wish
And
we
then
had a
we'll use them in the
picture
game.
of you painting. That would be really, really cool.
Someday we'll do a little video.
If for whatever reason you ever get overwhelmed by painting, our friend Brother Silva,
That's
my,
true.
my friend from Ontario, will take over helping out with painting. And so,
Well, Brother
one
Sylvia,
of our
you're
fans.
more
one of our
than
fans.
welcome at any of our homes. Well, mine, I could say.
Always, yeah.
At least. I don't know. Ian's probably not got any space. He's a private person too. Anyway,
That's okay. That's
I
okay.
can make space.
There's lots
Yeah.
of places to stay.
Ian's place is cool. We should just do a video of him
Oh,
painting
totally.
and a picture of the place. I
Christmas Village.
was at a little get together 2 nights ago. We had a balloon jam. Glenn was there with me. Well, he's the one that organizes them. Balloon jam. We had a balloon jam, and there was a buddy of ours, Sean Baptiste, there. Sean was telling me that he came, was it to your house or was it to Fort Edmonton to play piano because the guy who used to own your house, am I correct about
The
this?
original owner of our house
Yeah,
was...
tell him about this.
The original owner of our house, which was built in 1928, was one of, if not the first black musicians hired full-time in an all-white band here in Edmonton in the 1920s. And a lot of musicians were hired, for a single gig, guest starring, but he was hired full-time with Graydon Tips Riverside Pavilion Orchestra.
And he was a pianist?
He was a pianist, yes. The elderly neighbor who used to live next door to us when Val first moved into the house said, the original owner of the house was a black man, and they used to have jazz parties there. Well,
Jazz
of course,
parties.
he was the pianist. That's where the piano was.
Oh,
Jazz
the
party.
scandal of it. Jazz parties and a black man living
I
next
want
door
to go back to that era.
in the
That
1920s.
I
so
don't.
fun.
It sounds
And
terrible.
Sean Baptiste did an awesome job.
No.
Sean Baptiste did an awesome job portraying Shirley Oliver.
Yeah, so our buddy Sean Baptiste, which maybe he'll come and hang out and guest star with us one time. He's a great big, tall Filipino guy, black Filipino guy. And so he is perfect for playing, and he's a piano player. So he's perfect to be that
Yep,
character.
he did an awesome job.
My point was Ian's house is so cool. It's all antiques. It looks like it's still in the 1920s. And it's just an amazing, beautiful, wonderful place. So maybe someday we'll try and do a video of how fun Ian's house is in real life.
I'll need to clean up.
That's what every house owner in the
bet
world
that
says.
it's not a
It's
speck
got
of anything
projects.
you're like, ooh, this one piece of paper is out of place, and so my house is trashed.
Prepare yourself for a shock.
I think friends like Ian and myself need somebody to tell them, oh, by the way, I'm coming over in about an hour or so, and you're like, oh my god, and then you clean your whole house top to bottom, and they call you up and go, psych.
You know,
And you
Hey,
clean the
Rob,
whole
fix your camera. The cat.
That's
moves.
what
Oh,
friends
sorry.
are for.
Yes, cat. moves
Don't
my
pull the
camera.
bottom. Just do the camera itself.
Okay, lovely.
You
Have a
mean
look and see how you look.
if someone called you to actually
A little
clean
more.
your house?
More.
Maybe
Rob,
A little
more.
more. A little more.
up.
More to your right.
Oh, to my right.
Push it away.
my
on the
left.
right. Yeah, there we go.
Okay, to my
That's
right.
good.
There we go.
Okay, that's better.
To his left. To his left.
Okay. Any other questions about the mechanism that's in the hold of the Sky Galleon? As you look at it, you don't even come up to the height of the metal ring lattice that's wrapped around the bottom of it. You come up, as we talked about, to about mid-thigh on these giant crewmen that are taking care of it.
I think it's really cool that we learned so much about aerolite and floating
right.
airships this evening.
And it's been like a couple of years now since I just magically pulled that stuff out of my ass, so my butt doesn't even hurt anymore.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
I
'cause
had to
that's a
make up
pretty
all
big
this
crystal.
bullshit.
We've worn you down.
So, any other questions about the hold of the ship, the inside, this kind of thing? You notice that it's in the very center of the ship for a perfect balance, and that as you went into this room, the walls that go around just the room that this cluster, and you assume the deck below, are triple timber thick, and it is super protected, right? Murdoch refers to the fact that if you happen to be in a battle, you've got to be very careful that no projectiles make it through the hull and damage the core of this room, because if they do, that's the number one target on any skyship, is to try and hit the hold.
Good to know.
Does the physical temperature feel different in that room than other rooms?
You don't find feel a lot of heat coming off of them. You feel, as Wylders especially, you feel that magical sensation. The room feels a little more magical, but it is neither more hot nor more cold than the rest of the ship.
Okay.
So, and these ships are also built from the extremely flammable ultralight wood.
Correct.
Including
like
this room.
balsa.
Including
Yeah.
this.
Kind
Because
of
that's the only way you can get
disaster
something
waiting
that
to
big.
happen, but like
It's called light beam, the wood, the balsa lake wood that these ships are made out of, and it's surprisingly hard. It's not like balsa where you could just stick your thumbnail in it and make a dent. You find it surprisingly hard, even a little bit harder than pine, but it's very light, and it's the light golden color, very similar to aerolite, which is why the ships of the sky ships of the Anua, they're not painted. They're left the original color and just colored with a clear varnish, so they're all very golden color. However, the Mynnior, who are the trading Vikings, they paint their hulls of their ships blue, and the Aesir paint the hulls of their ships black.
so when you're looking up into the sky, you can identify whose ship is who based on the color of their hull.
Generally, instead of flags, because a lot of times flags don't help you, although the different nations or a different city would fly a flag insignia of that particular city. But from underneath, they tend to paint them black, unless, of course, they're cheating and lying and they're pretending to be a nation they are not to try and raid somebody.
So for our viewers who are joining us for the first time, can you tell us really quickly about those different who's who and what's what?
Who's who, the nations? I need to put a whole thing on our website about this, because I mean,
Maybe,
man,
yeah, there's a
we're
lot.
making this a big friggin' world. You can see all the different nations of the Western lands. I've also got on my to-do list in the next 6 months, I'm going to make the map of the Eastern lands.
Ooh.
The geographical features of the world of Aerra, because it's a sister world to the world of Earth, or Terra as it's called in are the same, which means that's why the geographical map of the Western lands, like you can see if I pull it up, we'll go to the adventure screen, and if I go to the map Jay would give me the map. Close that. Close that. I got too many things open. Close them all. We go to the map. You can see that it is the North. It's the same land features as the North American continent on Earth.
What are all those emojis?
Well, these are all the different places you've been. So these little, they get bigger when you, but if
they
you
look
zoom
funny
in,
when they're clustered.
if you zoom in, oh, stop that. I don't want to make one. I want to drag the map. See, this is where you started out, Crystal Lode Springs, 3 years ago. This was one of your big first fights. It was the temple in the pools, which you now know is an Unkta temple in pools. And I don't know what happened here. Let's see. Oh, that was the Wendigo cave.
Oh dear.
Where you thought it was a skinwalker you were going to have to fight.
We did.
And then you went down to Sabatai, and then you went across. This is where you ran into the Sky Wagon.
Right.
Right
We
there.
built Skywagon.
This is where you flew to with a Sky Wagon, and you landed and camouflaged it because there were Viking traders above the slavers.
But we did make good time. And
I
good
wish
distance.
so badly we had recordings of all of this because those early stories were so
They were
cool.
fun.
It's fun.
You went into the
Do you
Undercourt
still
tunnel.
have them all written down somewhere?
This is it. You're looking at it right
in
here.
our
Holy
memories. In our
records.
memories, yeah.
You ended up discovering accidentally the Undercore, the core tunnel. You met the corridors for the first time. You went underneath this water, and you came out near the
swamp.
Hag's Hovel in the swamp.
Yep.
You went through the Hag's Hovel in the swamp, and you met the
walking
Pugwudgies.
tree.
You fought the flail snail. Remember the flail snail?
Oh, poor
Flagellum, snagellum.
Okay. And the walking tree, there was a big tree monster was hitting us.
Where was the witch banshee weird one?
She was in-
That's somewhere around
She
this
was in
here swamp.
a tree, like swamp hag, yeah.
Yeah.
The Hag,
And we,
the Hag's
and we
Hovel.
went to her underground area and fought a bunch of
And we like shoveled all the water out of her swamp to be
Yep.
able to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you made like a little thing where so you
Little
could get
portal.
to the underwater hatch.
this is me doing hydroengineering.
So then you
yeah, all of
went
us
to the
together.
rendezvous, and we had fun playing at the rendezvous.
So much fun. We
Then you
played
went
duck
north on that
hunting.
misadventure where you were after avenging the guy who had lost his whole party to the owl women, and they kicked your ass.
They firmly
and
kicked our
the
butts.
eggs with flour that took us one whole episode to think up,
And worked
Yes,
out
that didn't
useless.
work out.
Yeah, they did
which we still have in our inventory. These hollowed out eggs
Hollowed out
containing
eggs full of
flour.
flour.
Then you went over to Orizal's Manor, the Magic Manor, and I mean, God, we were there for a month or more.
Oh, we were at least.
Then you, through the accidental discovery of a couple of portals there, you ended up way the hell down here
In the swamp.
in the swamp, Legardo People Swamp.
And then we had to figure out how to piggyback over some puzzle.
Then you discovered the portal system
Yep,
with the
in
first one
Aztec,
on Firefinger.
temple. Yeah.
Then you ended up with the merfolk.
Yep.
Right. And Thaddeus got married.
Before that, we ended up with the frog folk.
Yes, the frog folk were right here.
That was
Frog
the piggybacking over,
Well, that was the
Grunglund.
Aztec temple.
but same adventure.
But yeah.
And then after that, and then oh, I got the wrong one. There we go. Okay. Then you used the portal system from there. You ended up getting, because you were on your way to the Feywood, you ended up at the southern portal at the Feywood called Celestia Vale Portal that was on fire
Yeah.
all around it.
Yes.
You met the pixie who's south of it, and this is where we should put the pixie in, is we should make a new marker right here, and we'll make that one Burned Pixie Village.
Just type in. Well, I was gonna say for as far as emojis go, there should be a little fairy emoji.
In this particular software, I
Oh,
don't
maybe
know.
not.
Maybe a butterfly.
But do you see any that look good? Because this is all the ones we got. This only ones, unless I
maybe
try upload.
The tree, but not like.
I don't. I see the tree is probably the best one. I'm going to use this tree. Okay, and save it. Okay, so there we go. That's the Burned Pixie Village. Then from there, you went back in the portal, didn't you?
We went back to the
Yep.
portal and ended up north of Feywood.
And
we
you
went
ended up
all-
north of Feywood here at this portal, which was Verdantis.
And we ended
You
up
met
going
Monty.
to Monty. Yep.
You had your big fight with the Duragar.
That's right.
And we met 3 men, one of which was uncontrollably sobbing. And
Yeah,
kind
they were.
of, like,
We rescued them
yes.
and returned them to salt marsh.
No.
That's right. They were salt marsh fishermen, and they had been going from the east to the west all the way to Cahokia. And it was on their way back that they were captured by the Durgar, and you rescued them. And then you escorted them all the way to Salt Marsh, which is over here. And I don't have Salt Marsh on this map. Let's get it on the map, man. It's supposed to be right here.
Can we put a
We got a
barrel
problem.
of whiskey there?
A barrel of whiskey.
barrel?
Barrel of whiskey.
Barrel of brandy.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Barrels?
Barrel.
I don't see any barrels.
See, look,
Yeah,
the
but-
one thing I remember.
Here, we'll use this as a barrel.
That's because of Brandy the
The
dog,
Alta
right?
fabric.
No, it's because brandy, the brandy.
Salt Marsh. Actually, we called it Salt Shore, didn't we, for this adventure?
Oh, salt.
It's based on the old Salt Marsh D&D Adventure module.
I'm sorry, I got them muddled in my brain.
But yes, Salt Shore. Okay, so Salt Shore was there, and from there you made your way south. You went through the road into the Feywood that goes right here. And that road into the Feywood was the Troll Bridge. Then you ended up seeing Quilius. Then you ended up going through Elfheim to the south to near Celestia's Vale is where the Elven Host is right now. And that's brought to you to today. Okay?
Yay.
Yay,
We've,
yay.
we've almost traveled a very large portion of this,
Of this world.
Aerra map.
Well,
Yeah.
and part of the deal was when we were investigating the portals, I'm sure we popped out many spots to the north and many spots that we have not investigated yet, just simply because they didn't look very, very promising.
Yeah, or like it wasn't where we needed to be at the time. Maybe
right.
just the feel.
So I mean,
That's true.
if we ever really get bored, which I doubt ever,
We'll never be bored.
bored. Yeah, no, we've never been bored, and that's because of Dave and his incredible authorship.
Yes, there
Yes.
are portals in the north, and they do have lands attached to them and adventures there.
Yep.
Okay,
So-
I have a question about the Anua.
A question about the Anua.
Yeah, what do these guys eat?
Beans,
They
Protein. Lots of protein.
Because they're like 20 feet tall.
flying buffalo.
Makes
you have
sense.
to remember about the world of Anua is that most of the different humanoid races on the world of Aerra, most of the humanoid races on the world of Aerra have kind of sort of taken on some of the attributes of the environment that they live in, which is a natural thing. The corridors, for example, are very small and very, very hard. They have almost rocky, stiff skin, pebbled skin. The Anua who live in the sky, which is huge and expansive, had room to grow. And so they are bigger. As a matter of fact, it's a little strange for them because if you ever get to one of the cloud cities and you explore it, you'll find out they have a little bit of a problem moving through the city itself because all of the archways in the city tend to be slightly shorter than they are. Bigger than you are and shorter than they are. So the archways will be 15 feet in height. The Anua will be 16 to 20. And you are between, 5 and 6.5 feet tall. That indicates that the original creators of those cities were not as big as the Anua, but bigger than you. And those cities, as Marduk tells you, are quite ancient. Other examples are that the elves have certainly some of them taken on slight aspects of being in the forest, being sylvan. You find the same with other races or other cultures in various places that they've taken on it. But those are the most drastic differences. And it's exactly the way, look at dogs on Earth. You've got little dogs and really, really big dogs. You compare our little guy Simon, who's, this big, with Rob's dog Luna, and Rob's dog Luna is
50
eight
pounds,
times the
yeah.
size.
She's 50 pounds.
She's 50 pounds, and Simon is 5 or less. So she's literally 10 times the
10
size. of
times
Simon.
the size. In
So it's not unusual that you would have this. And also, I would encourage anybody who's actually interested in ancient history that all of the ideas about giants on Earth being dismissed as myth, check out the Denisovans. They're bigger than regular human beings are, right? There is more and more evidence being found all the time for over large cultures of humanoids on Earth in ancient history that have all died out, just the way the Neanderthals did.
Mm-hmm.
And there are lots of interesting stories about that too, especially in South America. Okay, so
We didn't
what do
answer
they
what
eat?
they eat.
They eat what you eat.
Horse stirrs.
Much bigger amounts of it. And as you ask Marduk about this, he takes you to where the stores are and he explains to you, and you see these huge bales, and he says that there are all kinds of vegetable foodstuffs there. You see these giant bushels of corn that he says we buy from Cahokia and other native settlements that raise corn and beans and squash. We buy large amounts of that. He says that as far as the livestock go, they grow their own livestock. So he shows you barrels that are preserved bison meat. And he says, these are aurochs that we raise, flying bison that we raise and keep them as livestock. And that's where we get our meat from, is from that, as well as we also trade for preserved meats from other cultures as well. But obviously our appetites are big. He shows you another set of barrels and he says, you see these ones here, these are mammoth, which is something that we regularly will hunt ourselves, our mammoth. Or we will send parties, we will commission with parties to go hunt them for us. But it's much easier for us to hunt a mammoth than it is for regular humans your size, because the size of the mammoth compared to the size of us is the same as the size of you compared to the size of cattle or buffalo hunting them. That's what they eat.
We'd like to welcome Ashley Miro.
Hi, Ashley.
Ashley, hello.
Ashley, who makes the world's best salsa
My God, she makes such good salsa.
and pickled beets.
Yes. And thank you, Ashley, for the jar of pickled beets. She came to visit 2 months ago, 3 months ago.
Something like that, yeah.
And she brought some pickled beets and she brought some salsa, and they were amazing.
And there they were, gone.
She lives up in Grimshaw, which is pretty far north in Alberta here. It's up by Peace River. Any other questions? This is like questions about Aerra night.
I heard the
we've
alarm.
had the alarm go off.
But it's so
we'll
important.
field
Like we
one
do
more-
need
two more
like
questions.
like even just for ourselves and also for our viewers to like have a recap of this strange world.
You have 2 days of flying time that you're going to be flying with the ship. One of the things that you have not asked Marduk, but he is happy to explain to you when he brings you aboard, is he says, welcome to the Mynnior, and that's the name of his ship, is the Mynnior, which in Anua means my honor. Mynnnior is actually how they spell it.
I like
And
the
that
name
is the name of the ship, the Mynnior. And now you know.
Being the wife of the storyteller, let me tell you a secret that nobody knows. If any of you had any idea how much time Dave spends researching historical details about each and every part of this, it may be created in terms of consolidated by him, but so much of this is actually from history that has been woven together.
history or historical fiction, fantasy, literature. Yeah, he has spent countless hours creating this beautiful world for us.
Because most of this mythology is based on Earth mythology, I end up having to do a lot of research of Earth mythology, of all the different ones, which is why I damn well know about the giants. I know about ancient civilizations and all that stuff. This ship that you're looking at, me trying to figure out the name of this ship, I had to go and frickin' read a Sumerian lexicon. Okay, Sumer was one of the first civilizations that is historically recorded in the Mesopotamian Valley on Earth. The Sumerian tablets are some of the first recorded writing there is. Sumerians, everything, a lot of stuff comes from Sumerians, and their gods were called the Anunnaki, which is where I basically fictionalized Anua from. Understand?
Yeah.
And so I'm looking for a ship, and I'm reading this goddamn Sumerian lexicon. I mean, that is the driest stuff you're ever going to see in your life, because it's a translation of all of the words or parts of words from these clay tablets from like 6,000 years ago.
And they're cuneiform.
Oh yes, cuneiform. Oh my god. So yeah, sometimes
I think a story
I go down
behind
rabbit
the story
holes all
would
the
be
time.
fascinating.
Oh dear.
I've been
Yeah.
down way more rabbit holes than Alice in Wonderland, I guarantee you.
We appreciate you so much for it, though.
You're welcome.
Like such a fun adventure.
And you've
every
created
single week.
this marvelous pastiche of all these wondrous cultural details and historical fantasy.
Well, I know it's more fun for you guys around the table than it is for the folks at home, but there you go. That's the way it works.
Ashley did say she's going to bring more salsa next time. Just want to say that.
Yay!
Thanks,
Yay.
Ashley. Everyone's grateful to your salsa.
Did she say that on YouTube or
Yeah,
on Twitch?
YouTube.
See, is it
Oh, that's why
is
I
it
can't
closer
see
to
it.
black bean or a pico de gallo?
It's a closer to what, the salsa?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a closer to a pico de gallo.
A pico de
It's
gallo.
really great. Hold on. I wonder if I have it here someplace. I guess I don't have it playing because I can't play it on the same laptop as this without bogging down my laptop.
Yep.
Okay, right now it is 8:06 p.m. That's Mountain Standard Time. We are going to take our break. We are going to be gone until 8:25. All right. We'll be back at 8:25 Mountain Standard Time for those that are waiting live. So 20 minutes, a little bit less than that. All right. For those of you that are watching one of our recordings, if it's a recording of the live, you can just skip ahead on the recording 20 minutes and you'll pick us right back up here. Unless I've actually gotten my act together and edited these, but generally I don't edit them anymore. I don't chop them up into episodes as much as I used to because no time in my life, man. For the
And
rest
you are
of you,
still feeling well.
and I'm feeling well. I'm doing good. I'm doing better.
You are looking good.
I have more
your
energy.
Got
face
good
doesn't
color
look
now. Yeah.
Tired.
I am
yeah.
slightly more creative. I still have the occasional twinge in my kidneys. I had bad kidney stones, and it was rough for about 4 months. So now we're better. So yeah, hopefully we're going to go into a real great creative summer here, and I'm going to get lots of stuff done. Okay, now it's 8:07. We are going to cut it right here. We'll be back at 8:20. We'll see you all then.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you very much. See you soon. Are back. We just had a break. This is our second session live tonight here on this Wednesday night. It's second week of February, so it's a little bit cold. So thanks to everybody for coming out to play the game. Here are all the Wylders. Everybody say hello.
Hello.
We're going to go around the table real quick. You want to see the full introductions, you see them at the beginning of this video. I'm going to go around real quick if you're seeing, for some reason, a recording, and I'm just going to say everybody's name so you know what's going on. This is Ian Little, who plays Thaddeus Poindexter. He is a medical man in the group and secretly an ROGUE. This is Josephine Smith. She has guns. She's a gunslinger. And the wild woman in the group. This is Lavinia Rose.
Howdy.
She is a very nice, sweet death cleric who does a lot of healing and a lot of harming. She harms the bad guys, the undead, and heals all the good people in her party.
Yeah,
So Percy
absolutely.
Redfeather.
I just, yeah.
Oh, just a sec. I have to go back. Yes, I said I was going to do a quick introduction.
I just
This
wanted
is
to-
Lavinia Rose's grandmother, Abuelita, trapped in the skull. Her dead grandmother's spirit is trapped in her dead grandmother's skull.
And why is that?
You have to find out and you read the whole damn story. Too late for more stuff. This is Percy Redfeather. Percy Redfeather is cursed as a weir tiger. He started out as a bounty hunter, and he's a hunter and a tracker, but he's also a weir tiger. He tends to be a bit of the tank of the group. The opposite end of the spectrum from Percy's great big health pool is this guy's wimpy little health pool, Raven Alexium, who is our wizard in the group.
Yay.
And
I have a raven.
and he has
and
a
a
raven
mustache.
familiar. So these are all outlaws that ended up in the wrong world together. They were like not a very effective group of
Well,
outlaws.
some
as it
of us.
We
are
were
outlaws.
set up to fail in that train robbery.
was. You were set up. It was a setup. I agree, 100%. It was a trap. And Lavinia was not one of the outlaws, but she ended up falling into the group because that's the way she was guided. In the last episode that we just finished before break, we were discussing your flight on the Mynnior, which is the giant sky galleon owned by one of the Anua. The Captain Marduk is the name of this Anua captain. And we were talking about giants and the origin of the peoples of Aerra and that kind of stuff. And I wanted to point out something to you. So I am going to take you to a browser page now. And here is some information. Giant Stories South America is what I searched. And it said in South American folklore, the most prominent giant stories center around the Patagonian giants, a mythical race of extremely tall humans said to inhabit the Patagonian region. Early European explorers often describing them as being double the height of an average man, sometimes heights of 13 to 15 feet.
It's not
And
showing
then we
up on
get the
the.
opinion. These tales likely originated from the observation of relatively tall indigenous people of the area, exaggerated by the European accounts. Because the prevailing
Europeans were
belief,
shorties.
in archaeology and in Western culture is that nobody's ever been as smart as us. Nobody's ever been as big as us or bigger. We have to be the apex. And if there were people bigger than us, that's not acceptable. So it's clearly an exaggeration. So you have got to separate somebody's opinion from the fact that Europeans actually wrote down, hey, we met this dude and he was this frickin' tall. Okay? One is a fact written in a book. And there are hundreds, if not thousands, of recorded incidents of big people, just like there are lots of little people. But for some reason, we don't want to believe that. We have to believe the narrative.
How big are we talking?
Well, in this case, 13 to 15 feet tall.
Were you wanting the page to be on the adventure screen?
Oh, yeah, I was.
Because it's not.
Did they play basketball then?
Oh, sorry, guys.
Oh,
I guess I should have
Oh,
done this
he
one.
has to do it, yeah.
There. This was where I found this information.
Well, the
So I've been
Aztecs-
ranting and you didn't see it.
The Aztecs played ball with heads, so threw them around a court and threw a ring.
Yeah. So
Feathered balls as well.
So, Napoleon had a really great quote, and that quote was, "What is history but a lie agreed upon?" Because history, whatever the truth of history, is also often, I'm going to say always, colored heavily by the prejudices of whatever the current society is. We have these prejudices about certain normalizations, and as far as humans being a certain way in history, they must have been stupider than us, the same size as us, not as skilled as us, so on and so forth. These things are not necessarily true. These are prejudices. So that's why in this world that I was creating for Aerra, we're going to have all these different races and sizes. Because we do have different sizes of human beings, and we damn well know it. And that's because of environmental or genetic causes, right? Yep. Why couldn't it be the same thing the other direction? Let's go on with the story, because I wanted to finish or follow up with where you were on the ship. Let's go back to Marduk's ship, which is the Mynnior. You guys have seen the inside. You've seen how it is run by the giant aerolite cluster that's giving it its levitation. You went and checked into your room, which is the cook's room, and sit yourself out. The captain invites you for supper. When you get to his place for supper, the table has been cleared away, and he has had a series of planks laid on the floor so that there's a plank that's just high enough that you can comfortably sit on it like a bench, and then double stacked planks in front of you that are just high enough for it to be a table for you.
Oh, that's nice.
At the end, he has his chair cleared away, and he sits cross-legged on the floor so that he can be with you for supper. And it is the 6 of you around the table, him and you, and the cook comes in and basically brings in the food. You get these saucer dishes placed down in front of you as your plates. They're a little bit bigger than a plate for you, but it's a saucer for the giant folk. And of course, the captain gets a great big plate, much bigger than yours, that's got the food. It's a huge heaping amount, and you are being served. It looks like it's some type of bison steak.
Lovely.
A bit of a stew, like a bison stew piled up, and some vegetables on the side. It looks like it's some corn and some squash. And that's what you're being served.
Can we take 1 second and just say, hi, Pete?
Hi, Pete.
Hey, is Pete here? Hi.
Yeah, Pete.
Hey,
showed
Pete,
up.
Ashley's here.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, Ashley was here watching earlier.
Ashley helped him get online, I believe.
Super.
nice.
Yeah.
So, and I want to thank Amanda too for being our chat master. She's the one that there you go. That's right. It's important. She's the one that monitors our chat channels for us while we are talking, because I can't do all 5 things at one time.
How dare
So
you?
thank you. And we also want to thank Mr. Raven Alexium. Hello there. Thank you for the berries and the cream.
So good.
We had berries and cream for our break. It was
Here,
awesome.
I still have some, so
Oh, there we
I'll
go.
put it in
Josephine's
the
got a
camera.
little bit berries and cream. Lovely.
Yum yum.
It was
So
great.
good.
So we really enjoyed that. So thank you. Okay, let's go back to where we were. You're sitting at basically supper with Marduk, and he says, so, do you have any other questions for me? We've got another 2 days flight. One of the things that Marduk particularly wants to talk to all of you about is, how come I don't have the rest? Maybe I'll do this. There we go. Now I can see you and me. He wants to particularly talk to you about plans for your mission.
Yes.
He says, as you know, I still have a plank lashed to the very front prow of the ship, and out on it I've still got that cloth bundle in it. I know that there's a great big ceramic jug in there, which makes it pretty fragile, and that it's probably explosive. It's explosive quackshine liquor, specially brewed by Quilius Quacksilver for you. He says, now when I picked it up from Quilius and lashed it out there, he said you are going to have to add something to it to make it effective for the ship. Just the liquid exploding itself is not going to be enough. You're going to need to wrap up the entire liquid bomb with some type of metal shards or something like that.
Yes.
So he says, so I have directed the crew, and we've got it down in the hold right now. They have broken up one of our cauldrons, smaller pots that was made out of iron, and they've broken it up into a bunch of iron shards.
Wow.
You should be able
Excellent.
to
Thank
use
you.
that, but you're going to have to bind it up, and then somehow you need to stick it to the hull.
Right. You were working on the glue.
I have the formula for what used to be called sovereign glue.
Okay.
It's
I
now
can-
called everlasting adhesive.
I forget the
Yes,
name, but
that's what it's called.
sounds
Do
about
we
right.
want it to be like an everlasting adhesive, though?
Well, after it's attached to the boat, we don't care because it'll blow it up.
Well,
But
yeah,
at
and
the same
and
time-
also if it's attached to the glass that's going to shatter, then it will be
But I thought the plan
Productive.
was for them to drop us down onto the ship. Having the bomb with us, we just put it in the hold.
I think we were gonna swim underneath and
Well, the original plan was that I was going to
Glue it.
attach it underneath, but
Right.
then our good captain had suggested
Right.
he'd just drop us down.
Yeah. And if we're just being dropped down, then the plan has to change accordingly. So now I think what we're doing is we're somehow lowering the bomb, like with two of us holding it, because I assume it's kind of heavy with all the scrap on it and shrapnel strapped to it. Don't know how much it's going to weigh, but we would have to position it in the hold. So we'd have to fight our way to the hold. It means that we probably need a team of 3, 2 to hold the bomb, 1 or 2 to fight their way through and run the
not only
gauntlet.
that, we need to make sure that we have our strongest swimmers. Like obviously Thaddeus is strongest swimmer,
Yeah.
but because we're gonna have to dive off and get the heck out of Dodge as
Well,
soon
yeah,
as
yeah,
that happens.
yeah, it's true. So once the explosive is set, and we have I think 30 seconds.
Unless
or
we're gonna be
something.
raised back up.
That's what I
That's
thought-
what I had understood.
I
But
was
coordinating
understanding that
that
we-
within pinpoint precision is going to be hard.
Right, because they would have to fly the exact
Right.
same
And once they are sighted
speed.
by our enemy, they have a good chance of being shot at.
that too. Yeah.
with it being in the middle of the night, though.
Yes and no.
Well, I suspect that some of the crew of the ship will also be what are called the soldiering dead.
I am going to interrupt just because I can. Do you still have an invisibility spell?
I have lots of invisibility spells.
So, if we were to do what we needed to do on the ship, could we then be made invisible?
Well, I do have a spell, and it's called Invisibility Sphere, and it actually lasts for 10 minutes. So as long as you're within 10 feet of me, you're considered invisible until you do an aggressive action. But I don't think carrying a bomb is an aggressive action. You know, putting a knife into somebody would be considered such.
Philosophically,
Well,
yes, but actively,
I believe Mr. Redfeather have a corpse sword pendant as
Yep.
well.
Yep.
That's
Yes,
if
you do.
But that only works if you're getting detected by the undead, right?
Yes, well, that's why I was suggesting. I
Oh, I see
believe a
what you're
lot of the crew is the soldiering
Undead.
dead.
saying. I also have one of those.
Okay, so that's
I
3
had
of us.
I had the impression that there was 1, maybe 2 living commanders on the ship, and then the rest were all soldiering dead. That's the impression I was given from.
Yes. Well, the commanders will probably be going to bed,
One would hope.
leaving their supposed soldiers to keep watch.
Because they don't need to sleep. Because they're dead.
Well, they're almost.
Not dead tired.
We also assume
Where
that
does it-
they're their only bad people on there, right? There might be others. There might be fae. There might be, other evil, incantation type of creatures. We don't know
I-
what's on the boat.
I think that's something that we'll have to apprise once we get there. I mean, we are going to be sneaking this bomb into the hold, and if we see any other prisoners, then maybe we'll just throw them overboard.
Regardless of who is on there, our mission is to destroy this shipment of arms
and to get treasure.
and to get treasure.
Okay. I think if we're invisible, our odds are improved dramatically.
That was why I was just thinking.
Yeah, great idea.
That's good.
Okay, so Marduk says, well, from listening to you discuss your plans, I think you've got 2 choices in front of you. One is that you can try a stealth mission, and I will attempt to lower you right onto the deck of the boat without you being detected, which might be possible if you have an invisibility sphere. Absolutely, that might be possible. The second option that you have, there are really 3, but there's one I don't recommend. The second option you have is to be lowered into the water near the boat and to try and stick this bomb onto the hull of the ship and be away before it detonates. to do that second option, you need a couple of things. First of all, you need to be able to make the bomb sticky enough that it will stick to the hull, which it sounds like you've discussed the possibilities of. The other thing is, I would suggest that if we're there in time and we locate the ship traveling north on the river, that you need to intercept, that we get ahead of it. So in the dark, if you wish to stick the bomb onto the ship, we will lower you in the basket. You could probably have one person move the bomb. If it's lowered in the basket, once it's in the water, we can make sure that it will float just enough that it can be maneuvered by one person in the water. If you're going to move it on land or in the air, it looks like it's going to be heavy enough, especially with the shards around it. You're going to need two people to move it, and we're going to have to strap some rope handles to it so you can pick it up and move it. So either we get you ahead of the ship, lower you so that as the ship is making its way north and the current is pushing you south, you intercept the hull of the ship and you stick the bomb onto it. You've got to be careful you don't accidentally stick it to something else. Or we lower you directly onto the ship, which has greater physical risks as far as being detected. Because if you're detected, I can pretty much guarantee you're not coming back from this mission. So you've got to decide which way you want to go. If you're going to be lowered onto the ship, it sounds like you're going to need at least 3 of you to move the bomb, 2 to carry it, and your wizard to cast the spell of invisibility. And you might want all 5 of you just in case you need to fight your way out of there.
So what was the one that you didn't want to, you wouldn't recommend? You were saying that
land on the ship and fight your way down and fight your way back. I do not suggest that you land on the ship and fight your way down, because keep in mind, these are the soldiering dead, and they do still have some operational muskets. What happens if they get a shot off, and instead of hitting you, it hits that bomb and it goes up? You will have accomplished very well sinking that boat by blowing it up with your bomb. You will also have finished your mission and any future missions because you'll be going with it.
So I have a question.
Yes.
Could we not simply drop the bomb onto the deck and then shoot it from above? Would that not accomplish the same thing?
It's in a bottle.
It's in a great big ceramic jug.
Were we gonna do like a Molotov cocktail thing with it? Like just like light it on fire and just like kaboom?
If you were to drop it, Marduk says, knowing a little bit about dropping stuff like this, the issue that you have is that if you hit that ship from above, you're certainly going to damage the upper deck. If it was just pure metal, you might even drop it down into the lower decks, but you're not going to sink that ship because you're not going to sink the hull of it. So you'll damage the ship. They'll keep moving forward north and they'll repair the ship. To sink that ship, you are going to have to get that bomb to the hold.
Yeah.
It is going to have to be against the hull, either on the inside or the outside. That is the only way you're going to have a guarantee that that ship doesn't go anywhere.
So how do you guys feel about option number 2, being lowered as a team? Maybe we can fix like a little what are they called? Like a jolly to wheel the bomb along on.
Down the stairs.
Well, how heavy is this bomb?
ladders.
Well, it's heavy.
Marduk says,
take
well,
2 people.
what's light? I mean, it's very light for me, but of course I'm a giant. It's going to take 2 of you to pick it up once it's got the iron shards wrapped around it.
Yeah.
Right now it's just got some padding in a cloth package wrapped around it. So I would suggest that you're going to need to take off that cloth. You can certainly leave the padding there. Glue on a bunch of these iron shards that we give you. Wrap the cloth back up. And my guess is that once you are done doing that, it's going to weigh 2/3 of one of you.
Well, we do have the spell of ant haul, which gives you the ability to carry considerably more weight. Carry 3 more bulk than normal. So I would imagine we could beef up some of our beefier folks to carry this sucker.
3 more ball. Assuming that the bomb is about 150 pounds ish.
Yeah.
That would mean still carrying about 50 pounds, which is for an extended period of time a lot of weight for one
For some of
person
us.
to carry.
Not for me.
It wouldn't be for Percy because of his augmented strength.
I have augmented strength, so
Augmented strength.
yeah, I do. So I would be able to pick up 200 pounds without
Okay.
severe
Okay.
effort.
Okay.
What size is this bomb again?
Well, it looked like the Quackshine bottle was about this.
So about 2 feet across.
It's the largest Quackshine bottle, so you're looking at about 2.5 feet, and it's a round one with a bit of a flat base.
Okay.
So how much bulk would it be considered to be?
3 bulk.
All right. So I have a lifting.
They said.
I have a lifting belt that allows me to lift up to 8 bulk.
Ooh, let's let Lavinia be the human bomb.
There you go.
Okay. So we got the weight figured out.
Just thought I'd mention.
So now we just need to be as stealthy as Christ and get in there very quietly.
Which we've got. Like we've got this as long as we stick together. I mean,
can
it's
do that.
a whole again linking arms thing. We're not like
Well,
moving
just if you're
too
staying
fast,
in
too far
range
away.
around him.
Yeah,
So it's
10 feet.
It's a 10 foot.
yeah. 10 feet
Ten-
is not a lot of
10-foot
room. 10 foot.
radius.
10 foot's like this table, like this circle right
we
here.
would have to get cozy.
Yeah.
It's true.
Yeah.
I believe it's a 10-foot radius. I got to look that up.
Yeah, and I have to look up the details of this too.
So instead of
thing
being
that we've got
lowered
a
into
couple
the
weeks
water,
to
the
decide.
idea is that you are going to try and be lowered onto the deck of the ship,
Yeah. In the middle of the night.
and then you are going to try and
Set the bomb and
take
bugger
it
off.
into the hold, light it, get back to the deck of the ship, and get off.
I can go
How-
ahead of whoever's carrying the bomb and just check for traps because I can be pretty
I
stealthy.
have another question,
Yes.
and this is directed at Thaddeus. Thaddeus, do you think you could get some booze from these giants and make a bunch of fire bombs, throw them down at the ship as we're leaving so that we have less problem stealthing out of the place and then set the whole ship on fire?
He
And
just
thus
Mhm.
set
Hey,
off
he just
hey,
wants like a
Rob, use your
Hollywood
mic.
finale.
Use your mic.
Oh, yeah,
He wants,
so that
he
we would
wants a Hollywood finale.
we want to get out of there
Mhm.
and then throw a bunch of fire bombs at the ship and set it on fire.
We're probably jumping into the water, not going back up the balloon basket.
Okay, if you want.
Well, it's your choice, probably. It depends on whether or not we could safely keep that basket on the ship
Right.
We would
without
have to,
it being discovered.
we would have to keep it hidden, which would mean our wizard would either have to stay with the basket or we would have to stay with the basket, which is not going to work with us getting the bomb down to where it needs to go.
Well, they could always haul the basket back up.
Or partially
And then
back
lower
up so
it
that-
again,
Yeah.
and then we have to raise it again. Also,
just pull
like,
it up just enough that
the
it wouldn't
boat
be-
is traveling at a certain speed. The airship is traveling at a certain speed. They would have to make that completely accurate, keep that basket perfectly aligned with us. Like, no, we're jumping off the boat. We're lighting the bomb and we're jumping off the boat.
And if we're jumping off the boat and we're in the water, we are going to get knocked out. We are going to, because if the
that's
bomb
why
goes
I'm
out,
wondering if Thaddeus might be able to call in any favors.
From the Murphy folk.
Oh, we
yeah,
already
they're
talked about
saltwater.
this. They're not
They're-
able to
yeah,
get up there.
they're-
They're
Damn it.
not. Yeah, they're not anywhere near.
Although, ladies and gentlemen, we are forgetting we do have a mystical item.
Can't we just like all take these bubbles and jump
Yeah.
in the water and be like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can use the mystical item that we have.
You
that
got
gives us
the
water breathing.
water breathing. It was a great big half of a shell
Yeah.
that
big
you
old
could fill
conch,
with
yeah.
water, and then you would get the bubbles that would give you water breathing for an hour or something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that would mean the rest of you are able to breathe besides.
So even if we
Thaddeus,
get
who always
knocked
can.
out, we would still at least be breathing.
And As long as you are approximately 30 to 40 feet away from an explosion, the water will dampen the effect of the explosion quite a bit.
Oh, you guys want to try and make surfboards? Like, let's just like be like
Now,
bombs away, surf.
now who's doing the movie?
Escape from LA.
Doesn't one need a wave to do surfing?
What do you think is
significant-
going to happen when the
shock
bomb
wave?
goes off? That's going to be a babe.
Well, unless you're experienced at that sort of thing, there's all sorts of things that can go wrong depending upon the angle. at
there's
which
always all sorts
You
of
got a
things
great
that can
swing
go
point
wrong
break,
here.
but no.
just dive in the water, swim for the shore
Yeah.
as fast as you can.
Fine,
Yeah.
fine.
And
fine.
if we're underwater, we
Yes.
might stand a better chance against the firebomb explosion.
Yes.
That's true. Yeah, yes.
So
It's
I'd
like
say,
an
you know,
insulation.
if you're diving, you would have better padding.
So, Captain, do you have any flammable alcohol on board?
Well, Marduk interjects. First of all, he says, first of all, Josephine is right about trying to match the speed of our airship to the speed of the riverboat, because the problem is with the wind blowing, it's going to be very hard for us to slow down and stay in place. That's very difficult when we are blown by the wind.
Yes.
So lowering you in the basket, even getting you onto the deck, is going to be a heck of a feat. And you are only going to have literally seconds, 5 seconds to pile out, 5, maybe 10 at the most seconds to pile out of the basket before it's going to start to drag on the deck. Which means that we have got to pull it up very quickly, because if it begins to drag on the deck and make noise, then your stealth ruse is going to be it's going to be exposed. So we are going to have to pull it up. We don't have to pull it up all the way. We only need to pull it up a little bit. But once again, I think it's a good idea for you to dive off the back of the ship, swim as far away as quickly as you can. It's going to take you 10 to 15 seconds to get back to the deck if you absolutely run for it and dive off the back of the ship. You've only got a 30 to 45 second fuse on the bomb. So you have got to be quick. When you light that fuse, we could give you some bottles to throw for other stuff. The problem is, if we give you fire bottles to throw, they're pretty big and unwieldy. He says, here's my bottle. And he puts a bottle in front of you. And the bottle is like this big thing. It's this big.
I have smaller bottles.
Oh, you do have smaller bottles. Okay, well, that would fix that problem.
He could recant them.
So you could do a distractive fire on the ship if you wish to. But since you only have 30 to 45 seconds, I would suggest that you focus on getting off the ship, diving off the back of the ship, the stern of the ship, swimming as far away as you can, protecting your ears, waiting for the detonation, and then we will circle back around to pick you up as best we can by dropping the basket in the ship's downriver a little bit, so that you can because the ship,
on
assuming
the shore,
that it
maybe
sinks
a little, like maybe even like half a mile inwards, something like that, so that we're not clearly visible by any survivors.
Well, it should still be the middle of the night, so we'll do it right on the shoreline.
Okay.
But yes, that would be the easiest for you, is swim, get to the shoreline, and we will try and drop the basket as close to you as we can. You still have to get the bomb down into the hold, in spite of the fact that it's crawling with guards. That is going to be difficult. However, you are not on a timer once you land on the ship. You've got all the time in the world to go as slow and as stealthy as you want to.
As long as we remember to not light it until it's in its
In
place.
place.
Yeah.
Well, the other thing too is if we can,
And actually, we only have 10 minutes for invisibility.
True.
I can cast it more than once.
Okay.
It's a cantrip?
No, it's a 3rd level spell.
Oh, but you've got a couple of tokens.
Well, I
He's
have-
willing to sacrifice his
technically.
spell slots for us.
but I can also cast a fire bolt from a distance as well to hit the fuse from 30 to 60 feet out. Right, I don't have to be physically right beside it to ignite the fuse.
So
But
if
you'd
you
have to
get
be
it
line
in
of sight.
place.
Once it's in plate, I need line of
You
sight.
need line of sight.
And if
So the
hold's
base
full
of the stairs going up from the hold, or the ladder going up from the hold, probably.
Yeah, that's possible.
There's another question for you. We don't know necessarily whether it's stairs going down to the hold. There's a good
Right.
chance that it is a hatchway and it is a ladder.
Ladder.
If it is a hatchway and a ladder, you are going to need to lower it down the ladder, which means you're going to need somebody above
Super
and
strength.
somebody below to transfer it down.
Or a floating disc.
This woman
Or
has
floating
a
disc.
Could
super
use a floating
strength, and
disc.
she
Or
can
super
just
Floating
like
discs
throw
is
it on the
probably
back.
a more practical thing to do because I'm going to be hindered actually by this.
by the
belt.
weight belt.
Like, yeah. So.
Okay,
disc.
floating disc.
Use floating disc to lower it down. Yeah.
Okay.
And then
So like
I-
if we just keep it on the floating disc the entire time,
hell.
like go down the basket,
Yeah.
keep it like all we do is guide it.
and
and-
maybe, between flaming arrows and fireballs, we could definitely set it off.
It's probably not a bad idea, though, if you did have some fire bottles that you could let off once you have lit the fuse. You make it to the second deck, and before you dive off, if you want to take 2 or 3 seconds to throw some fire bottles on the deck to keep it as a distraction and help with some extra flame when it goes off, that is probably not a bad idea if you want to do that.
Well, it would
You win.
actually give us a few
Congratulations.
seconds of what? I want to set things on fire.
I know you do.
I don't want to set the world on fire. I just want to start a flame in your heart.
We can also cast illusions. Like I can cast a frost giant right on death.
Ooh.
What about the Velociraptor?
The Velocipaster?
Well, I don't know if he would be fun, but I do have a deck of illusions that there's some very interesting ones.
Okay.
And it's all random, of course, but theoretically, it could be an interesting distraction.
What if you now hear me out? You have a full deck of illusions.
Yeah, apparently.
What
yes.
if you're like 52 card pickup bishes and just like throw them all out and just phew? Oh my gosh, it would be so entertaining.
I think I can only use one at a time.
Yeah, I was
darn.
going to say the
Darn it.
rules for deck of illusions. Actually, if we have a quick look, I'm going to go
Crazy
to actually find it in the compendium. It's called Deck of Illusions, DECK.
I've got one of these
pretty
as
sure
well, but mine's different.
You
Mine's
have
like
a deck of cantrips.
Get deck of cantrips. Bless you.
This is it says this is a set of 34 parchment, comes in a velvet bag. You draw a card chosen randomly, throw it to the ground to create an illusion of the thing depicted. Solution except it has range of 30 feet where the card was thrown, and the illusion lasts until destroyed or until someone moves or damages the card. The creature takes its actions once you're on your turn within 60 feet. The illusion ends if you don't sustain it or if you activate a new card from the deck. So yes, you'll only be able to use one illusion from the deck of illusions if you wish to do that.
And there's some nasty ones. There's like, you can get a boar, right? Or you can get a leaf leshy, which isn't very intimidating. But you can also get a red dragon, depending on your luck. Like I think it's random, isn't it?
It is. You don't know what illusion you're throwing onto the deck.
Key phrase being depending on your luck.
These
I
are the
mean,
rolls.
Well, you roll a 1d20 or
like,
1d34,
oh, yeah, garter snake.
and then
Maybe.
it just picks up one of these. It could be a Medusa. It could be,
There's such thing as a D34.
well, yes, sure, of course. Digitally,
You
it
can
says
just
1d34.
you can just set your random roller in the Foundry program to be
Five.
34 sides.
You
But-
could do a 20 plus a 10 plus a 4.
Well, I could also do an actual illusion that I can pick, but this is fast, and some of these are pretty major. So it's just a thought.
Yes,
It's a great thought.
the illusions are fine. The Molotov cocktails are fine. The primary objective is getting the bomb down into the hold,
Right.
securing it, getting out of
Getting
there.
out of
I'm
And
I'm
anything else is
trying to
window
give us-
dressing, which
give
is
us
great to do
options.
on the way out.
This
Right,
is
right.
what I did want to ask you. How long of a time do we have once you light that fuse?
30 seconds.
Only
45 at
30
the most.
45 at the most. I mean, because he can create any sort of fuse he wants. Why would it only be up to 45 seconds?
No,
Why couldn't it be like a
Quilius-
5-minute delay?
Quilius has
had-
already created the
Oh,
fuse.
right,
Yes.
right. Okay, sorry.
Has
sorry,
already
yeah.
attached it to the bomb, which is the issue that you have.
So we can't extend that fuse in any
Well,
way?
he had to make a waterproof one because the expectation was that it was going to be an underwater bomb. So the fuse, if you wanted to try and take the fuse out and put a new fuse in, that's up to you. But Marduk is very hesitant
That
about
could be
you
kind of
messing with that on
volatile,
his
yeah.
ship.
What about mage hand or something along that line to be able to light?
You'd have to
You
line
could
of
use a
sight.
mage
Well,
hand to
mage
light
hand
the,
to light.
the fuse.
We could
But you
already
also
be
use a
off the
fire dart.
boat.
No,
Right.
I'm just saying, if you've got more than one method in case one
Well, we have
method
lots.
doesn't work,
Yeah.
we've got some backups.
No, like I think that's absolutely genius. Like we could actually be on the edge of the boat, throw a bunch of Molotov cocktails onto the deck, have Mage Hand go down and light the fuse while we're like drifting away, kind of doing the backstroke, floating a little bit because we're so at ease because it was just like a piece of cake.
Mage hand's line of sight. So
Oh.
you'd have to be
line
able
of
to
sight.
see it.
You have to have line of sight.
And Marduk
Ruining
says,
my fantasies.
I know. Marduk says he would imagine that it's going to be a vertical ladder down into the hold next to the hull, that there will be an upper deck, there will be a mid deck, and then there will be the actual hold or bilge of the ship. He expects that the crystals are probably on the mid deck in a secure area. That the good thing about that is you shouldn't have to go near it or near the guards. You need to find a hold that gets you down more into the bilge area, the very bottom of the hold. That's probably going to be a vertical ladder, which means that all you'll need to do is lower the bomb down, and even at the base of the ladder, it should be next to the hull of the ship.
Yeah.
You could climb the ladder back up and point a firebolt or whatever, or do a mage hand straight down to it, the deck below. That'll give you another 30 seconds. Don't count on it being more than 30 seconds because these fuses are not perfectly exact. If you count on it being 45 seconds and it goes off at 35 seconds, you're still going down with the ship. So count on 30 seconds to get away.
Question for you guys. Should we, since we still have a couple of weeks here on our journey
2 days.
to
2 days.
2 days.
Okay. Since we still have a couple of days, should we fashion some sort of life raft for us to be able to grab onto if necessary?
It's not a bad idea. Now, there is a simplified form of a boat that we can form, but I have a crazier question for you guys. We're on a ship of giants. Does one of them have a really big mixing bowl or a really big serving tureen or something that we could use as an improvised boat?
There you go.
Well, we
we
still
could
have to
ask
get far
them.
enough away. Like if
Exactly. We still have to get far enough away.
Well, if they floated it, like, because we're going
Just
to
drop it
be-
in the river.
Yeah, just like floated it behind us.
But if we're not swimming underwater, there is a very strong likelihood that somebody, the glow of the flames, will reveal us in the water. We have to be underneath the water, swimming.
Like, obviously
Fast.
we would dive, but I'm saying, like, eventually we are going to have to, we're going to take the bubbles. We don't need to come up for air.
No.
Huh.
You can stay under to keep you safer if they can't see anything on the surface.
Right.
I would suggest that they're probably not going to be looking outside the ship as they're concerned with trying to, save the ship. However, when the ship goes down, you should also keep in mind
The
those
water's gonna
that
fill.
survive the ship going down
Will be in the
are
water with us.
undead, and they can breathe underwater just like you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you do not want to be sticking around that much, depending on how many of them there are. Unless you're spoiling for a fight and you want to take them all on. It will still be dark, though.
But a cat in water? I don't know.
I'm going to be wearing my
Actually,
corpse sword
tigers like to
pendant.
so, who here has dark vision? I picked it up as a feat.
I have very
Yes.
low light vision.
I have
Yes.
got dark vision available to me if I wanted to. It's one of my spells available.
I think that Thaddeus and Lavinia currently do not. The other three of you do.
You
Okay.
have goggles.
I can give my
Maybe
goggles
lens?
now
Yeah.
to. Well, I've got dark vision as a feat.
He's taking it as an attribute, as a feat this last time, and I'm going to say that as far as the story goes, the reason that Raven has developed dark vision while he's been in this world is because dark vision is one of the attributes and abilities that his grandfather has gained as part of his warlock's power from whatever entity it was that has empowered his grandfather, and that it's been genetic since then. And since he's been in the world this long, it's just naturally developed for him. His eyesight's been getting better over the last half a year.
Yay for Dad. He's good for something.
I know that dark vision is one of the spells that's available for me to be able to choose as one of my level
Spell
spells.
or feat or
No, it's a spell.
okay,
A
so
divine spell.
you can do a spell as you can cast it on yourself if you want to go that way.
So I guess the order we're doing things in is you're going to cast dark vision on yourself. I'm going to give everybody the bubbles from the container, the vial thingamajiggy. We're going to start to descend the rope. You're going to cast a sphere of invisibility. We get down to the bottom.
Why don't we wait
Disembark
till
with
we're
the
actually
bomb.
doing the mission?
Well,
and
symbolic.
the-
I don't need them anyway.
Well, we
put 'em on your-
We're being
do have
lowered
to
in a
plan-
basket.
We do have to plan it, obviously, like you're describing right now. We can't forget to put it on the floaty platform thingy.
Well, we'll
Floating
have
disc.
the floaty platform thingy with us. And of course,
It's a floating disc.
levitation.
Okay,
disc.
floaty platform thingy is the technical term.
Yeah, all right.
And I was thinking, you've got the floaty platform thingy with us, and we get down there, we put the bomb on the floaty platform thingy, and then it goes down into the hold. We all kind of quietly creep off of the basket and get onto the ship, and silently.
Wait, can we send
No, there are
it
2 to
ahead of
3
us, or
decks.
do we have to guide it and
After the
pull it
deck,
down?
then there's
I get it. I get it.
yeah. So
Yeah.
you can't just lower it down
No,
from
we're
the
putting it
basket.
on the top deck, and then we are pushing it or moving it towards.
Okay, before we move along, I am using this is something that Raven bought for us. You guys have this much time to continue to discuss things.
Yeah,
Dave wants
you
us
weren't
to
letting
shut
me
up
finish.
already.
This is the top deck. We we unload the basket, have them pull it up. We go towards the porthole or the place where we descend down to the next deck. We lower the disc down. We all follow and carefully creep around to make sure that we're not being seen. Invisibility follows us. Then we find the portal to the next deck, and then we go down, and then we plant the bomb there. And
Light the
it,
fuse,
and then
run,
bugger like mad.
jump off.
Right.
So I can cast. I can have my familiar basically cast a spell on my behalf.
Oh,
Oh, so you could, once we've lowered the bomb down, we could just bug her off, and then she can go into the holes and go down and light the fuse with a fireball?
She's got She got 25 feet. Unless I get a faster, she can go up to 40 feet, and cast a spell to trigger the
fuse.
fuse. Yes.
Fireball.
So we could be off.
We
the,
could be off the ship by
the
then.
ship as long as you have Drema in your line of sight.
No, she doesn't have to be.
Not line of sight.
Holy,
It's
my
100
goodness!
It's 120 feet, isn't it?
No, well, I can make her go 40 feet at maximum,
Okay.
but then she has to use the spell. So she can't be any further than 40 feet away because I have to give her the spell.
Okay.
Then she takes it. She's got 1 round to do
And
it.
as we're buggering off, we all throw fire bombs and get off the ship.
Yeah, and then Drema's just like caw, pew pew, and then comes back and
Boom, boom.
Boom.
And flies through.
as we all gracefully drift away.
Boy,
during
that
the
sounds
backstroke.
good in theory.
Yeah.
And I have
it's
my
a great theory.
and I of course have to have a spear or my bow loaded because we're going to be followed by a bunch of undead.
Can we have the?
Karen
Do we
frickin'
still have the
T.
Tritons? Did we end up taking
No,
the?
we don't.
No.
Tritons? Dang it!
Just one
They
other
were too
thing.
heavy, too big.
As soon as we do any aggressive action, the invisibility sphere
But
dissipates.
by that point, we're beyond.
So what's considered aggressive action? Jumping off the boat?
No, no.
Maybe throwing the firebombs.
That would be an aggressive
Okay.
action.
Okay.
So
yeah.
that's we're past that point. We're in the water. We're gonna fall prey to the zombies unless we fight back. So we all have to have something we can use in the water to fight against the zombies.
And this is important because as we know, my pew-pews do not work underwater. Okay.
You're gonna need a knife or a
Well, I've
something.
got.
So
I've got
I
a knife.
have a really bizarre question for you, Mr. Game Master.
Yes.
To what degree can I turn water to holy water?
Oh my god!
You can't turn an entire river to holy water.
Damn
You
it!
can only do
Wow!
in one pass.
idea.
You can only do. I'm going to
No.
say
Like a
absolute
vessel.
maximum
God.
is going to be 2
No.
feet by 2 feet.
That would have been so cool though. Blow up the ship.
Okay.
Turn the
Any other
river into
ideas? Look
holy
at the
water.
timer, guys. Look at the timer. Any more
Yeah.
ideas?
guys
It
are a
was
little over
listen. It was
halfway.
worth
It
it.
was a
asking
great
that
idea.
Such a
question.
great idea.
A great idea.
It is
Questions?
water.
I would like to minimize the number of people who are going. I know we should all go just in case we encounter, but I myself am very good at stealth.
Well, if we leave one person in the
And-
basket armed with some weapons,
Go
And
ahead,
with
let him
the
finish.
pendant, that would protect me from the sight of so I can certainly go down with the incendiary device to make sure it gets placed.
Being the distance shooter, maybe I should remain in the basket, being able to,
Because the more people
Totally.
that are in the invisibility
Shoot.
bubble,
distancing.
the harder it's going to be to maintain.
right?
Plus, the basset's going to be above the deck. That's not where they're going to be looking, right?
No.
So as long as you're within shoot
And you're going to have a
range-
great point of view on them to knock down the zombies coming after us or trying to, they pay attention to what's going on and they would follow us. So
Yeah.
our sniper, our lookup,
Yep. And if you're wearing your pendant as
Yep.
well,
right?
that'll minimize.
I sure wish I had managed to get one from him. Boy, oh boy. Yeah.
And do you want to stay up in the basket with me?
Yeah, let's do it.
Just
Okay, you can stay in the basket
Let
and throw
the boys
spells.
go down.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll throw it almost like water balloons, but it'll be like Molotov.
Yeah, you can throw
cocktails.
spells
Pew, pew.
and cocktails.
And we are about to lose our
And you
time.
are out of time.
almost.
I think we did some pretty good planning. What do you guys think?
I think we're good.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Okay, Marduk says, okay, well, that's the plan. What we'll do then, first thing tomorrow morning, we will try and get your bomb prepared with the iron shards.
Mm-hmm.
Now, to do that, I'm going to need one of you or two of you to go out. I'm not bringing that bomb on board. You're going to have to go walk the plank. And he laughs. Ha ha ha. We'll rope you up. You can walk the plank. You're going to have to take those iron shards
I was getting
and
you or me.
prepare
Like
them.
I'm fine with like
I've
tiptoeing.
got-
We'll
Sure.
give you a bucket of pitch
Yep.
to paint them and stick them onto, open up the cloth packaging on the outside, stick them inside, tie it back up. Once that pitch hardens, the whole thing, they're not going anywhere, and the cloth will also harden to the outside of those as well.
Yeah.
Since you don't need to worry about any glue on the outside of it, we won't need to worry about that, but we will rig up a rope harness so that you can carry this thing. And
Maybe just a couple of rope grips, like handles.
yes, and then we will place it in the basket ready to go for when you're going to drop. That's going to give you a day and a half flying time still for any other preparations that you need to do.
I'm making flaming arrows.
What's your acrobatics?
My acrobatics is huge.
Where the hell am
I have a question regarding Mabel. That perhaps you can answer
Mabel.
for me. Mabel, your long rifle.
Yeah.
How many dice is that?
I roll a.
A 1d12?
I roll. I believe a 10. hold on. Let me just go to actions here. Actions. Okay, Mabel. Oh, actually, I roll a 14 to strike.
Plus 14, yeah.
Yeah, and
Oh,
then
what's your damage?
sorry. Yeah, so the damage is a 1d10.
Okay.
Plus
14
2
strike, damage
plus
1d10. Yes, yeah.
1d4 fire.
Okay, so you know, and we haven't had a chance to do this, is I have a striking rune, which means I can magically craft the rune onto Mabel
nine.
and double the amount of
9
die
plus
you
14.
hit with.
Oh, okay.
Is that just a one-time thing, or is
No.
that a forever thing?
Well, you know how you got that little additive for your whip? Well, it's that.
You know what? You remember how you were asking for people to maybe donate to some spells? I have like 600 gems.
Oh.
If you want to like double Mabel, you can have my 600 gems.
Well, it's going to take me 2 days to do it, and we don't have
We
that.
have 2 days. We have exactly 2 days.
Okay, I'll have to stop crafting your
I don't need anything.
Okay.
And
So-
he's right. He's got a striking rune, and it does double the number
That's
of
so
dice.
badass. And like I said, I'm like, I don't need gems. You can have them. Like,
Sweet.
yes. Huh?
Oh,
Well-
plus 12, actually.
Nice. Okay, well, that I'll start right on
You're
that.
still better.
Yes. Yes. Pew 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 pew. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm so excited.
So you need to remind me to update your Mabel gun so that it has a striking rune on it.
Yeah.
Dave,
that
are you
it
up yet? Are you up yet?
Are you awake? Are you here? Okay.
So I'll make sure I do that this week. Now our alarm has just gone off. It is 9:17 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. So we are going to wrap it up in the next 5 minutes. Is there anything else you guys want to do? I mean, I know this entire evening has all been planning the mission. Is there anything else that you wish to do before we sign off tonight?
I just
Anything
want to
you
ask
say?
our wonderful guests who have been hanging out with us tonight. Have you enjoyed this?
No.
Brother Silver already went to bed.
Uh-oh.
He said maybe sounds like a plan. I think he thinks our plan
good.
is a good plan.
And Pete is an amazing planner, so
There
that's,
you go.
that's good.
So he would know better than anyone. That's a good plan.
Okay. Anybody else? Anything
No,
else you
I
want to say? Bring up? If you think of things over this coming week, make sure that you remind me. Now, the next game night is next Wednesday night, which
The
is
19th.
the 19th. Is it the 19th?
Sure
Wow,
is.
things are already going by fast, eh? Okay, so does anybody have any problems with next Wednesday night to play?
I'll be out of town.
Oh, that's right. Raven's out of town. You know what? Oh, are you out of town the following week on the 26th?
I think I'm back.
And then I'm gone for a lot.
Well, you're not gone on the
Can we
26th,
like
though, are you?
should we like maybe just plan to like get back together on the 26th, because this sounds like a really major
We don't want to be
Escapade.
We don't want
doing.
anybody to be left out.
Exactly. I think that we
I
should all
agree.
be
And I also want the extra week. That gives me an extra week to do some other things. So we're going to skip next week, the 19th, and we will come back on the 26th, and we will play then.
It sounds
Sound good to everybody?
Everybody's good, yeah?
All good.
Okay, so next game night is going to be the 26th, and looking forward to it. In the meantime, don't forget, finish homework, do homework,
Yes.
and I'll call you and bug you about that. Hey, have you tried? Is your tablet still giving you the same grief?
Yeah, I was using my phone.
Okay, fine. We can also like get that other laptop set up for you to run, and let's
Yeah.
just do that.
Or maybe I'll just buy another laptop.
Fine, whatever you want to do. Okay, everybody, thank you very much for coming to watch.
you.
I don't know why
Thank you.
look at my camera. It's like paused in this like weird pose.
Howdy.
Here, we'll use the
Thanks for
360.
joining us,
There we go.
everybody.
All right, thanks everybody. Everybody have a great night.
Take
Good
care.
night. See
Thank you.
again.
Bye.